on the proliferation of dangerous arms as part of killings by terrorists, kidnapping by hoodlums across the country. Thereafter, they answered questions from distinguished senators bordering on the security insurgents, terrorism, kidnapping, and other top national security matters. And on the whole, we directed that on our part, certain outstanding bills or protocols that needed to be given a fast track should be addressed immediately to see that they can be passed as soon as possible in order to strengthen security architecture. Secondly, of course, we all observe the funding issue, and we also agreed that there must be made special funding, and also to give them 2 weeks for which to present their own budget on this area of special funding that we think will go a long way to improve the security situation in the country. Of course, of great concern also was the issue of the coordination among the security agencies, and of that again we'll be looking to how through constitutional, through law passage, to see what we can do to strengthen that aspect of the security. By and large, we all are committed to ensure that this unfortunate trend of killings, we must find a way to bring an end to it. And we all agree to continue to work together, to cooperate and work very closely in order to address this issue. And we are confident that changes will begin to be seen in this area. And we have our own role to play, and they have also committed to play their own role. And we hope that over the next couple of weeks, we'll begin to take actions on some of these things that we have committed to. I thank my colleagues and all for what I felt has been a very useful deliberation, and again it shows our commitment to ensuring that we do protect the life and security of life and properties of our people. I thank you. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in committee? Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
The Right Honorable Speaker, House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, the leadership of the Senate, leadership of the House of Representatives, my distinguished colleagues of the Senate and members of the House of Representatives, management of the National Assembly, and members of the press corps. Let me on behalf of the National Assembly welcome you from the members of the press corps and thank you for honoring our invitation. It is a matter of record that yesterday lawmakers and staff of the National Assembly were prevented from entering the National Assembly complex by hooded and masked and heavily armed security agents, Department of State Services, DSS. All entries to the complex were blocked as early as 6:30 a.m. The National Assembly, the seat of democracy in Nigeria, was under lockdown. Senators and members of the House of Representatives were prevented from gaining access. The ensuing standoff was a show of shame that played itself over several hours in full. In no circumstances should this have happened. And we as a nation reap this bitter fruit instantaneously, as evident in media images relayed around the world, images that shame us as a democratic nation. The siege was also an act of cowardice by those seeking to carry out an illegal impeachment of leaders of the Senate in flagrant disregard of the law. People who seek to control at all costs by whatever means, never minding the injury to the democratic norm. I have to say, this is not about me, Baka Bukola Saraki as an individual. It's not about Ike Ikirimadu. And of course, this is not about Yakubu Dogara. I'm speaking for my colleagues when I say this about the soul of this great country, Nigeria, we all love. What we represent as a country, as a people, and our standing in a community of nations. This is a country where so much is expected of us. So many rungs of the ladder that we are supposed to have ascended as a nation. Instead, we are swallowing in impunity and illegal show of force, of all which retard our progress. This is most disheartening. I don't get any joy in saying, I'd say so, I don't. But however, some of you may recall a few years ago, about 2 years ago, I stated that there was a government within this government to a purpose that was not in the interest of what the people voted for. I said it then, and now nearly on a daily basis, we are seeing the manifestation of that government within a government. It beats our imagination how this is being allowed to occur. Only recently, we also saw what happened in Benue State, where 8 members out of a 30-member assembly, with the collaboration of security agents, police and DSS, tried to impeach a governor. It beats one's imagination how the head of a security agency could have authorized the brazen assault on the legislature that we saw yesterday. Despite the threat of our lives, we shall continue to fight impunity and injustice in this country. Happily, by the actions that Nigerians took yesterday, they demonstrated a strong resolve as a nation not to give ground to oppression. The legislation, more than any institution in this country, more than any other arm of government, represent the will of the people. We're elected by the people, and an assault on legislature is an assault on the people of Nigeria. The forcible shutdown of the legislature was an unconscionable assault on a national institution, and thanks to all your efforts, the aggressors have been put to shame. The resistance mounted by the staff, our staff of the National Assembly, my colleagues in both chambers, and the civil society, who refused to leave the entrance of this complex until the siege was broken, strengthens my faith and that of the Honorable Speaker in the people of this country. The rain fell and the sun rose, but Nigerians stood their ground in defense of democracy. With the strength of will demonstrated by everyone against unwarranted and unconstitutional materialistic might, the siege could not stand. By this, we have shown that Nigerians can resist governments within government in whatever guise, and this is humbling for me in particular. Those who sought to defend the attack on this leadership for their selfish reason further affirmed my belief in this country. They attempted to execute an illegal impeachment of the leadership of the Senate without the backing of the law, but they faltered. I am confident that together we shall always defeat acts of unconstitutionality. The rule of law shall always prevail. I want to thank from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of the Speaker and all of us, Nigerians, our colleagues, senators, members of the House of Representatives, our very loyal and dedicated National Assembly staff for standing up to be counted for democracy during yesterday's siege. I thank the thousands who monitor the situation on the radio, television, social media, voicing their outrage at the siege, thereby sending a clear message to those that hatched this plot that the Nigerian public would not buy this act of gangsterism using instruments of state such as the TSS. I also thank the international community, particularly the European Union that visited the complex, the international press for their prompt reactions to the invasion of the National Assembly, civil society and social cultural groups for being emphatic in their statements during the crisis, and very much appreciate their vigilance and, of course, the statements also by governors of states. Among the many that come up for special mention, I believe that Honorable Boma Goodhead. I don't want to embarrass you. Please stand up. Thank you. A member of the House of Representatives stands out. She looked at a masked security operative in the eye and dared him to shoot her. She let it be known that Nigerians will not stand for the barricade at the National Assembly. She will not be coerced by any of their activity. This is a pointer to what is possible in this country when women take their leadership. I applaud all who kicked against this atrocity and who stood firm until sanity prevailed. I am proud of how everyone conducted themselves in what no doubt was a tense standoff. The principled stance and defiant reactions to this ugly incident proved crucial to the failure of the plot. This is what we have been saying about the power of the people. The role of the people in defending democracy is paramount. I must thank also the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, for his handling of the situation we were all confronted with yesterday. His decisive action went a long way, restoring confidence and the image of our country. It sent a powerful message that the State Department, State Security Services cannot be recklessly deployed against institutions of our democracy. The path of leadership is not by party, and we must commend where it needs to be commended and where we find it necessary. The acting president did the right thing. However, the damage control so far does not address of how this happened in the first place. This is an incident concerning which we've had on good authority have been in the planning for months. How is it such an atrocity was not prevented? How is it that the masterminds were not deterred? Very, very serious questions remain unanswered, and only a full investigation will give us answers to this. We call for an investigation, and we demand that all perpetrators are brought to book. We owe it to ourselves to ensure that such a situation never occurs again in this country. Many agencies have abused their powers and acted outside the ambit of the law on occasion. Where abuses occur, similar actions must be taken immediately and full investigation instituted. I must say that when we fought for change, we could not have envisaged a scenario such as unfolded yesterday. An atmosphere where people cannot tolerate dissent or mere differences of opinion as to the future of our dear country. This is not the change we fought for. We did not fight for instruments of state to be used to oppress Nigerians and their lawmakers. I know that I certainly did not fight just so that legislators could be undermined and subject to this onslaught. There are so many lessons to be drawn from the ugly incident we all witnessed yesterday. For one, governments must ensure that security agents remain neutral and act in line with the position of the Constitution as well as the enabling laws. Head of agencies should be accountable, and those who step out of line must be held responsible for their actions. Enough with impunity. Enough with reckless and senseless deployment of militaristic force. Enough. In this dark cloud, we can see the silver lining. And that silver lining is the commitment of Nigerians to defending the hard-won democracy. I am more than encouraged by the strength, the determination, and the resolve of ordinary Nigerians to see that the democracy survives and thrives in this country. I'm also strengthened by the determination of the media to report and analyze the truth as they see it. I want to reassure Nigerians that on our part, we will remain committed to working for a country governed by the rule of law. Our desire is to have a society where there will be equity and justice, not oppression. We stand committed in doing our utmost as lawmakers to ensure that the responsibility and functionality of government are met. Although we are on annual break, we are daily reviewing issues that need our attention. Unfortunately, yesterday, shutdown prevented us from meeting with INEC to review their request. We will continue to look into this matter, and in the spirit of ensuring that we do all that is necessary to see that we have a successful and smooth election, we will take whatever necessary actions that is required for us to move this forward. If it means us coming back to address that, we will do whatever it is necessary. We will play our role to ensure this. In that spirit too, I would like to appeal to Mr. President to sign the new 2018 Electoral Amendment Bill, which we passed, which was based on his recommendations and his request. We have passed it and we have sent it to him for his assent. My colleagues, I remain confident that with your support, we will focus on the job at hand. We will continue to serve our Nigerian people. My confidence is unshaken. I remain committed to the success of the 8th National Assembly and the continued progress of our country. In closing, let me reiterate that neither myself, the Deputy Senate President, the Honorable Speaker, the leadership here belong to the class of politicians that are desperate to stay in power by all means and at all costs. The day 2/3 of our members do not have confidence in any of us, we will leave this place. I repeat again and again, this is not about us. This is about respecting our Constitution, and this is about the rule of law, and this is about the Nigeria that we all wish, and with us together we will build together. I thank you. God bless all of you. Thank you so much.
I report from Coast TV Africa. In times like these uncertainties, in the past, Nigerians have always looked to the Senate, the House of Reps for leadership and guidance. Beyond what happened yesterday, we have seen in the past few months, we have seen that the same agency has acted as disciplinary court orders, illegal arrests, illegal detentions, and the rest. Are we looking that the Senate will, in terms of legislation, try to rein on the activities of this agency and insist on punitive measures in the future? Thank you.
Yes, it's always at times like this that definitely the National Assembly plays its role in standing and fighting for democracy and the rule of law. We will continue, as I said, to ensure that these security agencies, their role is to be neutral, their role is to protect us, not to attack us or prosecute us or go after us. And in cases where they go beyond the ambit of law, we will call and take necessary actions that we can to ensure that they are called to order. And that is why I did commend the acting president for what he did. That action is long overdue, not only to the director of SSS. A lot of head of security agents are doing things that we all know are not in line with the Constitution. We have said many a times how we have summoned head of security agents to appear before the National Assembly. The laws are very clear in the Constitution that we have those powers. And when they don't, they again are going against the law. And it's the responsibility of the executive that they report to sanction them, the same way that the three directors has been sanctioned. Those that went to Benue, again to try and escort 8 members to go and carry illegality, they are officers of the security agents. There must be an investigation to find out who authorized them to go. Why? What were they going to do there? These are the questions, these are the actions that we will continue to call for. And the executive knows the right thing to do. And that's why they did the right thing yesterday. What we're saying that they must be consistent. Now they have set those standards. Any security agents that acts in the same act against democracy should be sanctioned similarly. And that is our position and we'll fight for.
My name is Lizzie Chipley. My question is, if, like you said in your address, that yesterday's CH or barricade was as a result of the Buhari-led administration of PDP and APC to impeach the Speaker and the Senate President. Why this? Why was it that it was only PDP lawmakers that were present and there was no APC lawmakers present? Because Nigerians have been asking these questions on social media. Thank you.
As you've read and as we know, and the evidence to support that, the whole plan here, as I said, this was planned for months. And those that came here early in the night heard the officer said, we have a list of those that should be given access to come in. The plan was for the number of certain APC members, lawmakers in the Senate, to be given the access. They had a list. That was why when members arrived here, whose name were not on that list, were not allowed to get in. And the reason why they were not here, as you all know, is that they were holding a meeting somewhere else, and their plan was to go from there to arrive here. They had had a meeting last night. Unfortunately for them, it was inconclusive. If the meeting last night, at the night before, had been conclusive, they would have been here as early as 8 in the morning. But the meeting was inconclusive, and they re-adjourned to 11 a.m. And our members and members of the other party must have heard about that and said, okay, we'll all be here and we'll meet. So that's the reason why they were not here.
Your Excellency, sir, I am Henry Moro, I report for Vanguard. Sir, the bottom line of what happened yesterday, which I can call anti-climax, could be the issue of leadership, the issue of removing you as the Senate President. Sir, it didn't happen yesterday. Where are we going from what happened yesterday? Sir, we have been having issues of Senate taking resolutions, remove this, remove the IGP come here, it has not been coming. Your Excellency, where are we going from here? Your Excellency, sir, the APC has just alleged that you were responsible for what happened yesterday, that you organized the DSS DG to be here. What is your take?
Now, the funny question I'm hearing is that the director of SSS reports to me, and the IG reports to me. This is the IG, and IGS don't report to me. Nigerians are not fools, and I think that's an insult to integrity of all of us. Those of you who were here, so as early as 6:30 a.m., cars started arriving, over 100 and something officers of the State Department. We have a sergeant at arms, we have a security. We never requested for it. Speaker, did you request for it? Just Speaker. We are all leadership here. We never asked that we needed more security. We have competent sergeant of arms team who over the years have concerned to defend this place. The only time we've had trouble here is when we have invasion from outside. When the mace in the Senate was stolen, again, we had invasion from security agents outside. So we never requested for, and that is an afterthought to say that we are the same, or the same State Department that withdrew our securities. Now all of a sudden people are saying today, let us not insult the intelligence of Nigerians. What happened yesterday, and that's why the acting president did the right thing. It was wrong. They had no business in stopping the work of an arm of government. And that was what happened. And they went beyond the ambit of the law, and the right action was taken. Let us focus on the issues. So what is important today in this country, we must protect this democracy. We must ensure there's rule of law. We must follow the Constitution. If you want to remove anybody, the Constitution is very clear. If you have the numbers, go ahead and do it. But if you don't have the numbers, and you want to turn us into a banana republic, where a small number will sit down, I believe as Nigerians, we have gone past that time. We want to grow a country that other parts of the world will be proud of us. This does not give us anything for us to be proud about. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Dixon Nnamdi Irebu. I anchor Nigeria right now on AIT. Sir, since it is within the law to take action, what action will the National Assembly take to ensure that the executive arm is called to order? Is it possible, sir, to ask that the National Assembly allows Nigerians on a possible impeachment process activated against the president? That's a question, sir.
By the action that the acting president has taken, as I said, I've commended it. We have all commended it. It's actually the right decision. It's something they should have done much earlier on. There are many cases of this kind of atrocity we've seen from now. But I hope by this action, those heading the agencies will learn from it. And we hold government accountable to consistency. They must be consistent now. Action that we believe is an attack on democracy, action that we believe is not in the interest of the people, they must be able to sanction those that head those agencies. So I don't think that there is need for any of us to talk about the issue of impeachment. That's number one.
The question is, the presidency has asked the National Assembly to reconvene to be able to attend to national issues to avoid shutdown of government. What is the National Assembly leadership doing about this? Then secondly, what's your comment about the resignation of Senator Akpabio as the Senate Minority Leader? Thank you.
Well, I don't understand how when we go on a recess there will be a government shutdown. There are a number of issues. If you remember also in Senate, we were to adjourn on the Thursday, but the decision of us were adjourned on Tuesday. So really we're talking about 2 sitting days. Sometimes people make out as if we're adjourned while beyond that. And on that day, after we adjourned, we realized that the electoral bill had not been passed. And we decided to wait and sit down and take the electoral bill and pass it. That was the only issue that was pending on us for an action. On the issue of the INEC request, it's amazing how nobody is asking. Is it the day we're leaving that INEC realized that they had a budget? There was January, February, March, April, May, June. Nothing came from the executive to say we need money for INEC until July when we're leaving. But be that as well, we are ready to support the executive at all times. And I'll let something out. Since we've gone on recess, even before this problem, both myself and Speaker, I've met with the chairman of INEC to tell us what are his issues. And this conversation has been going on. So we will do all that is necessary. As I said, if it needs us coming back, because we are not even committed it to committees yet. It just came as a letter read on the floor. It still has to go to committee. Even with the support of our members and also here, we will do that. And that was our plan that we wanted to do yesterday. But the condition was not conducive for us to hold the meeting. Even now, as we're walking in here, myself, Speaker, and the leadership said, since we're here, we have already sent for the INEC chairman to come so that the meeting we did not hold yesterday, let us hold it immediately now. And if after discussing with him, there's need for us to reconvene so that we can send it to committee, we will do that. We want a free and credible election. But what we don't like is where the wrong message is being passed out. For us, you are talking about from July to now. Executive, from last year, they knew there was going to be a budget. Why wasn't it included in the 2018 budget? Okay, after you submitted the 2018 budget, you had December, you had January, you had February, you had March, you had April, you had May, you had June. And it was not sent. So to say today that National Assembly is the one that does not want election is not true. And I want to reassure you on that. And any other matter that is important that needs to be addressed, we will do it. So I want you to be clear on that. Well, to me, you know, this happens from time to time. People leave, people come. So I don't think it's a national issue for me to comment on.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Ukemera Tukwa from Amplified Radio. I would like to know if changing the election order, will it actually affect the consideration in the speedy election budget?
Let me answer your question. You know, if you remember, the first electoral bill we sent to the president, we had the issue of changing the sequence of election. And we had about
what? We've now done an amendment where we are taking out the sequence of the election and done exactly what he had asked for and sent it. That's what we're saying. Now we know what you've asked for. Kindly sign so that we can go forward and have a struggle.
Your Excellency, my name is Abdullah Shotunde. I speak for Council Roger. You have just realigned your position from the PDP to the APC. And while in the APC you were given the Senate President's seat, but we want to know, what would be the position once the House? Will you be relinquishing the seat? And the second one is, are you going to contest for the president?
Okay, I knew I should not have called you, but then let me ask you. First question. It is clear I was not given. You use the word given. I was not given. I was elected by a member. So I think it's important. Secondly, according to our constitution, it says that the members of the National Assembly who so wish as a member. It does not say that you have to come from a political party. And I think those that know that. Then the second question, we hear here today about the issue of democracy of this country. And that is why we're here. That is more important to me and to all of us who are here, not those who are seeking any kind of platform. And I think when the time is right, I'll talk on your issue. Today, we're talking about democracy in Nigeria, to ensure the rule of law, to defend those who are oppressed, and to stand for what is right. Thank you so much.